Hey guys, it's Nikki. Welcome to Scratching the Dirt. This is my second in the Scratching the Surface series where I do my little verbal journaling and we talk about some things. I have big news on this episode. I made a pretty major life change and I'm going to tell you all about it. I do apologize for getting this out late. If you're watching my carnivore vlog or whatever, anyway, I have laptop issues right now and I'm struggling to do editing on my phone because it's so small and my vision just is not 20 years old. And so even with the glasses, I'm still having a hard time doing editing on the phone. So as I'm recording this, I have a laptop on the way. As soon as it gets here, I'm going to take all of the footage I have for both the carnivore and the Scratching the Dirt, Scratching the Surface series, and I'm going to get those edited and uploaded. So you may be seeing this as part of a drop of several videos. You may be seeing this on its own because that's how long it takes me to get these things edited. But let's just get right into it. Let's go out in the garden and I'm going to tell you guys about my major life change. Okay, bye. Well, see you in a minute. Bye. Okay, here we go. I'm over here. I'm going to do the thing again that I've started doing where I'm just going to chat and update you on some stuff while I'm over here. I'll tell you first what I'm doing. I had mentioned it in my last video, but I am mostly over the garden right now. It's hot, it's dry. We're not really getting a harvest out of a lot of things. And so I'm going to take these San Marzanos down. I'm not going to pull them completely out and I'm not going to take them down to the ground, but I am going to just start working on taking them back. I'm going to see, because we can get tomatoes here pretty late in the season, usually through October. I'm just going to see if maybe they regrow. I don't know. Honestly, they're not giving us anything. I think I pulled some tomatoes off 2 days ago and I'm not seeing a lot of tomatoes. So these are going to come down. And for now, I'm just going to chop them and make a pile. And then I'll end up cutting these into smaller bits to go into the compost so that it doesn't take so long to break down in the compost. But that's where we're starting with the garden today. I also want to take the okra out. I love okra, and obviously I'm not eating okra right now. If you've been watching, you know that I'm on the carnivore diet, and so I haven't been eating any okra. So everything we're harvesting is either being given away, is being dried, and it would be frozen, but I'm out of room in my freezer, so I can't even freeze anything right now because I have so much stuff in there. So yeah, this is what we're doing. I'm going to clean this up, and then we'll see if I remember to stop the video enough times. The editing software that I use, you can only after a certain size of video, it won't upload. And so I have to try to remember to stop it and start it again. Usually about 8 minutes is a good safe length of video. But let's get into it. So the big news, which you may or may not have seen coming based on the way I was talking last week, is that I resigned from my full-time job. And I am done. Yesterday was my last day. I went in yesterday and basically did my exit interview and cleaned out my office. So I currently have junk all over my house and still some stuff in my car because after you've worked somewhere for any length of time, apparently you accumulate a lot of stuff in your office, just like you do in your house. So when it gets, we might get rain this afternoon. And even if we don't, you know, it gets hot in the afternoon. So my indoor activities today are going to be going through all of that stuff that I brought home. And also, we're going to be having a garage sale sometime this month, kind of a combined garage sale with other folks. And so I need to get stuff like put into boxes so it can be taken over there where the garage sale is going to be. So I have plans for today. Also, the US Open women's final is today, so I definitely am going to be paying attention to that. And also, it's college football. So, on my very first day of being officially unemployed, I have things I want to do. So, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about why I went ahead and resigned from my job. You could probably tell, I think anybody that knows me or that has been listening to or watching these videos could tell that I was really struggling in that position. I worked there for 2.5 years, and for the last 18 months, it's been very, very difficult. This was not a decision that I came to just like out of the blue all day, or one day I just decided I'm out of here. I have been thinking about leaving since May of 2024, and for whatever reason, I stuck with it. Well, I mean, we know what the reason is. I talked about it last time. It was fear. I didn't want to give up the benefits. I didn't want to give up the salary. I didn't want to give up just the security of that job. But something happened last week. Not like this past Wednesday, a couple days ago, but the Wednesday before. There was 2 different times when I was at my job and something was said or done, and my spirit spoke to me, my soul spoke to me. Like I can't describe it. I haven't had a lot of times in my life where I've been so clear on what I'm hearing, because it's not like it's coming from my brain. It was like it was coming from my soul almost. And what it said to me both times was, do you not have any self-respect? In reaction to some behaviors that I was seeing towards me, towards others. Just, not what I would call the kindest or most professional behavior. And I went that day to my boss. I texted Jose about it, told him what had happened. And I went that day to my boss and I said, hey, look, I need a favor. I'm going to need the rest of this week off, because we were heading into Labor Day weekend anyway. So that was Wednesday afternoon. And he gave me the rest of the week off. So I came home and I just got quiet and got serious about thinking about, do I have any self-respect? Why did I continue to work somewhere where I felt like that, felt the way I felt for so long? Is at the end of the day, is a paycheck or a benefit more important than my self-respect, more important than my mental health, more important than my physical health? Because I've said it before, this job was difficult on me physically because of the sitting. It was a desk job. Professionally, the actual tasks that I had my job had kind of been cut down to were not engaging. They were not a good use of me, my talent, my skill, my abilities. And I struggled with that. Obviously, I've said it before. I was struggling with that. I was struggling with being disengaged. But I haven't really talked about it before today, but I was also struggling with some of the leadership and some of their choices and the way, listen, train. Some of the leadership, not all of it, but some of the leaders just weren't leaders. They were supervisors or managers or whatever you want to call it, but they definitely didn't lead. And there was no mentorship. There was no appreciation. And I'm not sitting here, I'm not trying to bash anybody. And I'm also not trying to whine and say, oh, nobody gave me a pizza party. No, I just, honestly, to me, appreciation would have been allowing me to do more, allowing me to contribute more. of allowing me to be fully engaged and excited about a job, because then the organization would have benefited, because I'm good at things. I got that job for a reason. I held that job for a reason for so long. And it was just felt so wasteful. Felt like a waste of my time, my energy. It felt like a waste of their budget. If they were gonna require so little, then why pay me? So I did it. I went in on Tuesday after the Labor Day holiday, and I turned in my resignation, and I did not give a 2 weeks notice. I know that I was raised in the generation that fully believes in a 2 weeks notice. And to be quite honest, if I had more to like pass on, if I had more that I was responsible for on a daily basis, I might have given a 2 weeks notice. But I wrapped up everything I needed to do, plus a couple of extra projects that were added in my last week, in 4 days. 3.5 really, because I left early on Friday. I left early yesterday. So I did it. I left, and I don't know that right now, with it being this fresh, if it's appropriate for me to kind of dig into all of the reasons. And I also don't want anyone to think that, I was like, oh, I was a sad panda, so I left my job. It was much deeper than that. And I'm not just going to sit here and complain and make it seem like I'm just a complainer, because that's not what happened. I'm not mad. I have no ill will towards anyone at the organization I used to work for until yesterday. I just think that the fit was not going to work long term. And so I could have just languished for many more years, continued to get the good benefits, continued to get physically and mentally less healthy, and then eventually it all would have come to a head, and it would be obvious to everyone that I shouldn't be there because it's not working. And so I just went for, you know it now. You are convicted about this completely. You're certain. And so I did it. I jumped. I jumped out of the security of that job. And I do have plans. I didn't just leave without making plans for how to pay my bills. Doesn't sound very exciting. And I'm going to tell you too that there were some folks at my job when I left that found out that what I was going to be doing was gig work for a little while, that acted like it was such a shame. And how sad is that Nikki is quitting her job and going to do gig work? And I found that to be quite telling, to be honest, because one thing I don't do is I don't forget where I came from. And where I came from is a place where you do whatever you have to do to pay your bills and take care of your family. And so I don't find anything, if it's honest work, I don't find it to be shameful at all. I don't care what people think about what I do for a living. I and the funny thing about it too is that there was all this, oh, poor Nikki, she has to do gig work, or she's leaving this job. How stupid is she? She's leaving this job to go do gig work. And the funny thing about it is that I'm super excited. Like I know that a lot of people do gig work on the side. My husband's been doing gig work for a while, on the side, because he loves it. Not necessarily for the money so much as he gets a real like joy out of it. And that's what I'm thinking I can grab a hold of and do the same. And so yeah, I also am hopeful that with my newfound energy between, oh, I went way too many minutes. Hang on. Dang it. That's what happens when I start talking. I just forget that I'm supposed to stop the video and restart. With the energy that I'm gaining from the carnivore choice or the carnivore diet and the food choices I'm making, plus the energy I have already, whoops, plus the energy I've already felt, just having that stress off of me that I don't have to go into work on Monday there. I can go do whatever I want. I'm hoping to be able to focus a little more on scratching the dirt and other projects that I wanted to do and that I've already started doing. I have one big project that, well, I guess it's, hi, I'm right here. I guess it's big to me. It's not actually like big, but I've always wanted to be a writer ever since I was a teenager. Well, really a little kid. As a little kid, I used to write plays and take them to my teachers and ask them if we could perform them. Of course, they never said yes, but I still would do it over and over again. But I've always wanted to be a writer. And I made the first step on that journey by putting together a prompted journal. And it is garden themed, of course, because I love the garden. I love gardening. And it's for sale on Amazon. I did it. I put it together. I went through the approval process to get it printed, and I got my first copy yesterday. So if you follow me on TikTok, you saw that. I posted it because I was super excited. And I also, obviously I want sales to come from that. And I also want people to have the journal. Like, it's not perfect. It's not the best looking and best put together thing in the whole wide world, but damn it, I'm proud of it. Mostly because it's something I always wanted. I just wanted to be an author of some sort. And now I am. Now there's a listing on Amazon for my garden and gratitude journal. And it says my name and author. And I'm super excited about that. So, and I've already started on the next thing that that I'm writing. So the hope is to eventually move towards actual books, like real, like my writing, not just, journals and planners and those kinds of things. Because I believe that I am a very good writer and I have a lot to say. So, without the stress of that job, because that's what I was finding. These are all things that I could have done in the evenings and weekends, right? Lots of people do it. And I was finding that I didn't have the mental strength to get through every day feeling a certain type of way and being miserable and being mentally exhausted and then coming home and working on my own projects. It wasn't there for me. The energy was not there for me. And I decided that I was going to stop using it as a reason to beat myself up. And I was going to just accept that, we all have limitations. I listen to, I listen to a lot of people in their books and all these things. And I understand that while I am extremely talented and I am extremely capable of a lot of things, especially now as I kind of begin this new thing, I have to also be extremely aware of my limitations, because the worst thing for me to do right now is to go out there and think that I am somebody I'm not and overcommit and overpromise myself and then fail and then try to deal with the mental damage that would do to me. Because I would know that it was my fault that I set myself up for failure. And I would struggle with that. And so rather than doing that, I'm going to take this newfound time and energy and go one step at a time. Got a list of things that I want to accomplish. Building this channel is one of them. Writing more is one of them. You know, I have other things kind of in the hopper in the back of my brain. And I'm going for it, y'all. I'm going to try to do all the things that I've always wanted to do. And I'm so excited. I can't wait to, you know, wake up Monday morning and just start new. Like, do different things. Do the things that I have chosen for that Monday rather than commuting into work because that's my work schedule and that's what I was told I had to do with my time. I'm going to do what I want with my time. It'll probably be gig work. I'm ready to get out there and hit the streets, do some deliveries, do some shopping, do fun things. But yeah, I'm going to keep doing these okra and regroup my brain, and I'll come back. Maybe. I can't get my glove off. Can't get my glove off. Okay, here we go. We got it. Okay. So I had shut off that last bit of recording and I was just going to continue. I didn't get much further with the okra because I was thinking about, you know, what I had just recorded. And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about next. And I was just, you know, I realized that I feel a sense of calm right now that I haven't felt in a while. Like, it's getting hot. I probably won't be out here for long today because there are other things I want to spend my day on. And I just am like, okay, so do as much as you want and then go inside, Nikki. Go do the inside things. It's okay. You have time because, you know, when you work a full-time job, your weekend is gone in a flash. That would always be my answer to, how was your weekend? It was short. How was it, though? It was short. Like, that's all I know. All I know is that I was just here, and now I'm back. Short weekend. And having this kind of feeling of, well, if it doesn't get done today, you can do it tomorrow. Oh, no, you can't do it tomorrow because you have family day with your children tomorrow. Okay, then do it Monday morning. Like, it's such a good feeling. And not having any pressure on how quickly I get everything done this weekend feels amazing. It feels so good. And I know, here's the thing, I know that reality is going to hit. Things are going to be a little hard. I'm going to have to work very hard to make as much money doing gig work as I was making. And I know that. And that's okay because I don't have a problem with hard work. I'm not lazy. I'm not afraid of working my butt off. It's just, if I could enjoy it, if I could feel challenged or engaged or, you know, and to be honest, I know you're probably thinking, well, I mean, like, gig work's not hard. Well, for me it is because I get a little bit anxious. My anxiety starts to take over a little bit, and that's not like a clinical anxiety. That's just the word I'm using because that's what it feels like. You know, I it's what it is my perfectionism. I'm so afraid of not doing something perfect that I get overwhelmed, and that's where my kind of the anxious feelings come from. So it, you know, I'm not trying to pretend like I've made it easy on myself by leaving my job and now all of a sudden everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows. I know it's not, but again, I'm not afraid of work. I'm not afraid of learning. I'm not afraid of trying. So in a sense, it will be sunshines and rainbows because I'll at least be doing something fun and new and learning and, you know, new processes and also learning how to make sure I manage my own time appropriately because I talk all this smack about, well, if you have to work Monday through Friday, and then we'll see. Am I going to be able to actually manage my own time? Am I going to be able to choose to do the work when I need to rather than just film in the garden all day, every day and do YouTube stuff, even though that's not the thing that pays me? I don't know. I have pretty good confidence in myself that I'm going to be able to do it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have made the choice I made. But this feeling of calm, of just snip, drop, move on to the next. You're not doing it the most efficient way? That's okay, because you have time. Like, it's such a good feeling. I'm quite enjoying this a lot. I also have to be careful because okra plants tear up my skin, and I still have some of the shingles that's still itchy. So I'm not really interested in adding itchiness to my life right now. So I'm just, get through here, get this all out of here. I may not even chop these piles up. I may just leave them and mess with them later or tomorrow or the next day, or I don't know. I know that I don't want them to go. I could put them in the compost if I put them in the 2027 compost, because they would have more than enough time to break down, especially with all that chicken manure in there. But I've kind of that's what I've done in the past, and it hasn't always worked out. Sometimes it doesn't break all the way down. Sometimes it creates kind of this compacted stuff in the compost that then when you try to turn it, it becomes really problematic. And so I have started trying to cut everything down at least a little bit, especially like these thicker stalks, into smaller pieces so they can break down better. So, I get to decide. Do I want to take the time to break all this down and maybe not get something else done? Or do I want to just throw it in there and let time handle it? Right now, my answer is that I'm going to break it down. But we'll see. It's my garden. It's my compost. I can do what I want with it. All right. Let me keep going. I don't know if the camera, I don't know if y'all can see it. This is another reason why I want to get these okra out of here. The weeds are just taking over. And the peas are still doing great. I've been harvesting those. I'm drying those. And, I've got my little chili pekin here, but look at this. It's just covered up with all these stinky weeds and grass and stuff. My jalapenos that are over here, a couple of them finally actually started growing. So, getting this okra, which I'm over, out of here is gonna help me. Now the other okra I'm leaving up for now. I'm just taking this side down today. I haven't decided on the other one yet. The other batch of okra that's in the other bed. All right, let me finish this up. This okra. There's not much left down there. Again, I can't take my clothes off. Okay, just real quick. I'm holding a handful of carrots and a few weeds, but I got all of the okra down, not all the way to the ground, but I got it down. I had forgotten I had a tomato here. I've got it kind of perched up, but I got to get a taller stake. I pulled some of these carrots out because they're crowding this chili pekin over here. So I went ahead. These are going to go to the chickens. But I pulled a lot of the weeds that were in here. So yeah, you can see there's a lot less weediness over here. So I have my pile of stuff. Right now I'm going to go take this to the chickens and probably take a break and drink some water because I am sweating quite a bit. It's kind of humid. Not too hot, but kind of humid. And of course, I sweat just thinking about being outside. So I'm going to go take a break and see what else we're going to do, if anything, before I go inside. Okay, so that's it. That's where we're going to leave this scratching the surface video. I'll be back I told you in the video that I left my full-time job, so hopefully I'm going to have more time for filming and editing and doing all of the things. So leave a comment, subscribe to follow along. Feel free to ask questions or tell me your experiences about when you left a job that was soul sucking. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to chat about it. But that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for scratching the dirt with me. Bye.